Hey everybody, back here with Abby the Wonder Dog. Hey Abby. And we are continuing our Knightquest, the Crusade retrospective, I guess you could call it. And this is part 4, but it could, I guess, been part 2, because there's, like I've said, Knightquest doesn't have a part 1, 2, 3, 4, easy to follow. Couple things on this issue. I love how they've kind of had the little Asbats up there. I wish they would still do that in DC Comics. I kind of always loved how they had that little picture there. I remember the first time they had a Batman with the Tim Drake Robin together, and I was just totally geeking out. Also, I haven't mentioned, but I do like the new Bat logo for the Crusade there, the Asbat symbol. And once again, another really awesome Kelly Jones cover. And this is a kind of a thing we've seen a few times, this style of one character over another, and the character who's down with his arms spread out like that. We've seen Batman like this. We've seen it a few times, and now here we see Tim Drake, our boy, who everybody loves. And there's the Kelly Jones signature. I never noticed that. There he is, laid out, and Rob had mentioned how like the shadow almost looks like the body is bleeding into it. So over-exaggerated imagery again by Kelly Jones, but so cool. And those bats in the background, just awesome. But when we left off the last issue, it was almost a subway accident. John Paul was about to crash, and so first of all, first thing when I open this, the coloring is just amazing. I love Roy's coloring. Written by Chuck Dixon, art by Nolan and Hannah. Such a solid 90s Batman team. Looks really cool. And John Paul gets out of this here. We find out that his new sort of subway car can kind of flip and turn. And in the other, see there, so he flips, and then he can fire his rockets and get the heck out of Dodge there. The writing was a little weird because the narration kind of starts, almost like it's John Paul's thing. He says, yeah, the way he talks, and then it turns to third person, and he even says, and damn this, where is this? Damn that hunchback, and damn that machine of him. Some more hate on Harold. I mean, I love Harold. He's so cool, and John Paul's not getting on my good side by bad-mouthing him so much. And so our cliffhanger from the last issue easily gets out of here. And here it's a little weird because he kind of says something about he needs to learn the subway timetables and learn all that. What does he say here? But he'll pick up a subway schedule in the morning. That's what he says. But in the last issue, it said he had it all memorized and had all the trains memorized. So that's a little retcon. I noticed this kind of a la The Dark Knight Rises. Not Rises, hello. The Dark Knight Returns, sorry. The narration and storytelling through television reporters. But that looks a lot like the way the screen looked in a recent Gotham-ish episode where Cobblepot was running for mayor. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or they took that. And then here we go. We got our boy Tim Drake, who, not as concerned about his missing father, talking to the maid here, or housekeeper, Mrs. Mack. And then this kind of led into some of our other Tim Drake discussions. Here he gets his license in the mail, and he says he gets a special license because he's not yet 16, but because of his father's disability, because of his handicap, he's allowed to now have his license. And I remember on our podcast we had some issues in the letter column. People were like, well, what if Shotgun Smith pulls Tim Drake over and he hands him his license? He'll know that Tim Drake is Robin. So there's the license right there. So then Tim Drake kind of heads out to the I guess the Bat Cave here he's going to, and he still kind of mentions that his father's missing, and that he says, I know Bruce will find him, but that's over in Knightquest, The Search. And then we got the storyline with these two twins who are cowboy bank robbers, who they get the name, he gives them a name here, I forget what he calls them here, he calls them, I don't know, what does he find? Oh, Trigger twins. So I wonder if they were old characters that Chuck Dixon brought back, kind of like a Shotgun Smith. I'll have to look that up, because he says here, I think I read that in a comic book when I was a kid. So maybe the Trigger twins are from long ago. And he talks about how he's got this idea for a job where they would rob the subway train. So oddly enough, here I guess is where the stories come together. So Asbats has got his new subway car, and they're gonna rob the subway train with all that money. He's been working on this thing here for 10 years, which would make a good movie. And so now we got some of our boy here. Here's Tim Drake. He's getting back into the Batcave. He says he kind of oh, well, there's an ad for his new solo book coming out. Perfectly timed in here. But he says this is how he got the Robin job in the first place, finding his way to the Batcave. And I love this artwork. That's such a cool overhead shot of Tim Drake in the Batcave. And then this one here, too, where he sees all the after effects of the fight with Bruce and Bane and Jason Todd, who's still dead at this point. His smashed, I guess, tribute, where his uniform was. And then Tim sees some of the things that... sorry, my dog is snoring. Abby, could you be a little louder? She's sound asleep. This is boring her. All right, she's already read Knightquest. But anyway, sees how John Paul has put in a shooting gallery, and Tim realizes, oh, that's not good, having a shooting gallery. And then here, next couple pages has a little preview of the next story arc, which is going to be about the Joker becoming a movie director, which they don't spell out the Joker, but they're kind of hiding it here. But some more cool Asbats art. And here we get our first look at the Red Bird. I guess this is the first appearance of the Red Bird. And I love the old 1940s Bob Kane Batmobile in the background there. Cool nod here. And so Asbats realizes somebody's tripped the alarms, that somebody's Tim Drake. And he does not like it, although that's awesome artwork of the Asbats there. Makes me wish we had some more issues with him. We need like a Elseworld series with Asbats. And so then he just shoots right at Tim Drake, just goes right at him. They have a fight. Tim kind of talks about how, he's proven himself. And then this kind of shows Asbats says, well, I don't understand why Bruce even needed a partner. And then Tim Drake says, he's proved himself against Bane and the Joker and King Snake and all those people. And so then they have a good fight here, which leads right to... Oh, here, Asbats taking Tim Drake down and grabbing Tim Drake by the neck, which is right how the issue of Robin #1, his ongoing series, opens up, right from this panel here. And then on the bottom it says, continued in Robin #1, will there be a Robin #2? And at this point, this is our fourth Robin #1 between... Actually, it's our fifth, because we had the 3 Robin #1s from the 3 miniseries. We had a Robin Annual #1, and then we have Robin #1, and then we've had 5 Robin #2s, so yeah, there'll be a #2. But what a cool way to end an issue, and what a cool way to start an issue, jumping right into Robin 1. So I'll put a link to our podcast about Robin #1 below if you haven't read that, and we'll follow what happens with the Trigger twins here. We got, all these Knightquest books going on here. And, yeah, thanks for checking it out. And, once again, awesome cover. Hopefully you found it a little more entertaining than my dog, who's sound asleep. Abby, you like Batman? Yeah, maybe not. All right, she's more of a Marvel fan, I guess. All right, so until next time, watch out for Knightquest.